Okay, I'm a little bit early, but I'm going to start because this will be also on my IGTV for people who don't catch it live. You can watch the replay. Hopefully. I've had a little problem with technology this morning. So, I'm going to talk to you first of all about how this is going to work. I'm going to talk you through all the types of platforms I use and why I use them. And then I will be doing a live demo of my escape room creation. And then, I'm sorry, I can't have people on with me at the moment. I've got enough going on. I'm really sorry. So I'm going to be doing a live demo of my escape room. And then I will be answering the questions that I've been given. Now, one of the things is that I only have an hour. So I'm going to talk really fast. I'm going to show you as much as I can. If you're watching on the replay, you can still ask me questions because I do a live every Sunday. Usually I do my live on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube all at the same time. This week I'm only doing it on Instagram because I need to share my screen and I need to show you a lot of teaching resources that I wouldn't be able to do on all platforms. So that's why I'm just Insta this week. Okay, I'm going to get started. Like I say, if you have any questions, please use the question sticker, or if you're watching the replay, please just type the questions in, or you can DM me if you prefer to do it privately. I'm happy to answer questions, and like I say, I go live every Sunday, so I'll be able to answer questions on there. Alright, let's get going. So, firstly, I do talk very, very fast, so if you want to make notes, or pause it if you're watching the replay, please do that. First of all, I'm going to talk about the kinds of sites that I use to create these games. Now, I talk about my journey to the kind of games I now create right now. I started off with Google Sites and Forms, which I think a lot of people who make escape rooms do. A lot of you who make escape rooms use Google Sites and Google Forms, and they are a great way to start. They are fun, they're easy to use, they're popular, everyone likes them, and they're free, which is always a plus, and they're really, really good. I'm not going to be covering Google Forms today. Google Forms are not the type of rooms I make. Google Forms are very text heavy, and I find they're too text heavy for me. The students have to read the text, go to a form, they have to fill the form in, and then they go back to the text, and then they come back to the form and back to the text and back to the form, and it's not the kind of game that I like. Now, I'm not criticising Google Forms or sites as escape rooms. If you like that kind of escape room, that's fantastic. Good for you. I don't. They're not the kind of games I make. I prefer games that are very much, the player is very immersed in the game. So they click on objects, they pick objects up. They, for example, I have a ship game where they have to find a pirate's wooden leg, take it off and throw it overboard. And once they throw it overboard, they release the spirit of the pirate and all this kind of thing. And there's lots of learning woven into that. For example, things that float and things that sink, or mathematics, or all this kind of thing. And it's much more immersive to me. So that is why I don't use Google Sites or Forms as my escape rooms. So I started with Google Sites and I didn't get on with it. I straight away wanted things to be a particular way and they weren't. So I moved on. So I'm not going to be showing you Google Sites today. But the rest of the things on this list that I'm about to read you, I will be showing you if I've got time. If I haven't got time, I will do another live, or I will answer questions in DMs or in chat. Okay, so moving on from Google Sites, I went to basic PowerPoint. Now I will be showing you how to make a very basic escape room PowerPoint quickly after this part, but I'll talk very quickly about what I'm doing first. So basic PowerPoint is great. You can load a scene up onto your PowerPoint. You can have objects that the player can click on. They get told a message when they click on that object. They move to another place when they click on an arrow that maybe takes them out of a door, out of a window, just around the room in general. They're great. Basic PowerPoint is perfect. I've got pros and cons for all of these. So they're popular, they're easy. Most people have PowerPoint, so it's not something you have to worry about. And they can be clickable, like interactive and clickable. Like I said, you can click on a plant pot and be taken to a close-up of the plant pot, and the plant pot has a question. The cons of basic PowerPoint, things aren't good about using that are there's no text input. And personally, I like text input. Multiple choice is fantastic, but for my escape rooms, I want my students to be able to type in an answer, not just have the choice of 3 or 4 or 5 or however many. Because when they get it wrong, they can just go back and try again. And that to me isn't assessing anything, isn't really learning anything. They're just guessing all of them. So basic PowerPoint is good for that kind of thing. Basic PowerPoint is good for young kids, like little ones, because you can have things like which colour should he wear, and they can choose from the colours, or how many, and they can choose from the numbers. But for older kids, I like them to type in, and you can't do that on basic PowerPoint. But I will be showing you how to start on that basic PowerPoint in a moment. So I moved on from basic PowerPoint to advanced PowerPoint. Advanced PowerPoint, in case you didn't know, is using macros, where you have a game and the people click on it and they type in their answer and it all works. And this was fantastic for me. It's exactly what I wanted. I loved it. I sat in advanced PowerPoint for a long time with my games. The pros of this, there's lots and lots of options. They can click on objects, they can type in their answers, they can get told that's the wrong answer, that's the right answer. You can put options in, like if it contains this word, then it's right. And if it contains this word, it's wrong. If it doesn't contain these words, it's wrong. Advanced PowerPoint's brilliant. And I made a few games with this and I absolutely loved it. It was easy to use, it's easy to learn, it's so straightforward, and I absolutely loved it. The only downside I found, and why I moved on from advanced PowerPoint, is that you have to enable macros. And lots of people don't like to do this. Personally, I have no problem with it. But I would send the game to people and a pop-up would pop up on their screen when they opened it saying, will you enable macros? And of course a warning as well, because, you know, viruses and things can come with them. And people would say, oh no, and then the game doesn't work. So people don't like to use macros. So I moved on from advanced PowerPoint. But again, if you're just using it for you or for just your class and you're not sending it anywhere, advanced PowerPoint's brilliant. After that, I moved on to boom cards. Now, I've talked about boom cards in my lives before. I'll be showing you these as well in a moment. I'm going to go through each of these in turn so you can see how to make these on each of these platforms. I've used boom cards before and I really, really, really recommend them. I think boom cards are brilliant. You can do so much with them. And if you are not into programming, you're not into coding, you don't want to take this any further, you just want to make a really fun escape room where the kids can click on something and get something back. You don't want to have to worry about macros. You don't want to have to worry about how you're going to send your file. Boom cards are it. Boom cards are the thing. I will show you how to use them. But boom cards, you can do text entry. So like I said, you can have them type in their answer and you'll get the right answer back or the wrong answer. They get a warning saying, no, that's not right, the answer, try again. Or the right answer, well done, you did it, blah, blah, blah. They've got clickable scenes, so you can have the scene of a forest. They can click on a tree, they can click on a pond, they can click on the frog, and something will happen from each click. It might take them somewhere else, it might show them something they haven't seen before, it might give them a bit of dialogue. They're clickable. Boom cards are easy to use. They are so easy to use. I absolutely love them for that because you don't have to do any coding or anything. Things I didn't like about boom cards, which ultimately had me moving on, they flip. And it's a tiny little thing, but it bugs me. The cards, for example, you might have a scene, like I say, of the forest. I'm going to show you my screen in a moment, but for now I'm just going to talk you through this. You might have a scene of the forest, and as you click on the frog, and you get the close-up of the frog's face, and he asks, how much is 5 times 10? Or something like that. It would flip the card like a flip motion. And I think this animation is because it's meant to be, this platform's meant to be for task cards. So the idea is they flipped over a task card. But for us, the seamlessness of the game, you're jerked out of the seamlessness of the game because the cards flip back and forwards. And I found it very distracting. I didn't like that. Also, as I was getting better at making escape rooms, I was getting more involved with them, I found that boom cards weren't quite what I wanted because I wanted an inventory. I wanted the kids, like I say with my pirate ship game, I wanted them to pick up the wooden leg and have that in a bag or somewhere so that when they moved to the plank to throw it overboard, they could go into their inventory, take the wooden leg and throw it overboard. Can't have an inventory in boom cards. They can't move things around. For a while, I played with different ways of doing that, like I would have a code written on the wooden leg. And then when they got to the ship edge to throw it overboard. They typed in the code that was written on the lead, but it wasn't perfect, and ultimately I moved on from boom cards. But I have nothing bad to say about them, really. They are great, especially if you don't do any coding at all and you don't have a lot of time. Very easy to use. So after boom cards, I moved on to Java, which sounds like Java, but it's not. It's a W, J-A-W-A, Java. This platform is brilliant. It's really brilliant. I hope that I don't run out of time before we get to Java, because this is one of the ones that teachers should be using. This platform has lots of great things about it. There's so much interaction. You can make any kind of game on this platform. You can do all the clicking, all the text input, all the inventory, all these kinds of things without code. There's a little bit of code for more complicated parts, but it's not complicated to do. And if you want just basic escape rooms, Java is brilliant. It's got loads of interaction, and it's free for classroom use. So you can just sign up, make an account, make your kids an account, and they can use it for free, as many games as they like. They can even make their own games in it. So Java's brilliant. I'm still using Java a lot at the moment, and I love it. The things that are cons about Java, which ultimately I will be moving past Java and stop using it so much as I am now. It's harder to learn than boom cards. It's not as intuitive. You have to know what you're doing. I'm going to show you what you're doing, so that won't be a problem for you guys if you want to use it. You do have to pay commercially for it, which puts people off. But if you're not using it commercially, if you're just using it in your classroom, it's great. So Java is there. Then moving on, I moved on from Java. I haven't completely moved on from Java, but I've moved on a bit because of a few reasons. I wanted AR, augmented reality. I wanted them to use their phones or their tablets and see their person walk around on their desktop, for example. I wanted multiplayer. I wanted, particularly with distance learning at the moment, I wanted my kids to meet in the room and say to each other, oh, look at this, and that person picks up one clue and that person picks up another clue, and they talk to each other. And I wanted multiplayer in the game. And also I wanted advanced features such as teachers being able to add their own questions into the game, things like that. And you can't do that with Java because it's a little more complicated. So I moved on from Java. We're nearly at the end, I promise, and I'll start the interactive. I'll start the demo bit. I just had to talk you through each stage so you'd know what was happening. And finally, well, not finally, actually close to finally, I moved on to a game engine. Game engines are things like 001 or 001, I don't know how they say it, Unity, Unreal. These are what professional people use to make computer games and apps and things like that. And they are brilliant. There's loads of freedom. You can make any kind of game you like. They don't require as much coding as straight out coded games, but they're harder to learn. They are a steep learning curve. I've watched hours and hours of YouTube videos and read many, many books, and I still am a bit like with some stuff. So it's very time consuming to learn. I love Unity. I think it's one of the best ones. I bought and tried 001 and Unreal, and I just couldn't get on with them. Unity is much more user friendly, but that's if you're going to go that far. And finally, there's coding, like scripting your own games from scratch, just making them, which is degree level coding, but it does give you complete control. I'm not going to go that far today. I think that's well above what anyone actually wants. I'm going to go way, way back to, not to Google Forms, because I'm nowhere near an expert or anything on Google Forms. If you want to learn how to make escape rooms with Google Forms, there's many, many tutorials. Just Google it. Loads of people tell you how to do that. I'm going to show you now how to do basic PowerPoint, advanced PowerPoint, boom cards, and hopefully Java. If we don't get that far, I'll do another live and carry on. I'll do it part 2. Right, so let's get started. Now, the first thing that you're going to need to do if you want to make an escape room in basic PowerPoint is you're going to need a background. You're going to need a background for your scene, if you like. So I'm going to switch the camera around now. I'm going to show you my backgrounds, and I'm going to show you how I make them. You can also buy backgrounds. Lots of people sell them on TPT and Etsy and places like that. And there's some free ones as well. I prefer to make my own just because I like complete control. I'm a bit of a control freak. I do. I talk very fast, sorry. I've only got an hour. I've got to speak quickly. Thank you. Right, I'm going to switch the camera around. You're going to see my wall for a little bit, sorry. There's my lovely wall and my stand. Look, ooh, stand. And okay, right, here we go. Now, ideally, I would have liked to have... Is that going to make you seasick? I'll make it this way. Sorry. Ideally, I would have liked to have had a way of sharing the screen properly, but Insta doesn't let you do this. Now, this is my PowerPoint. It's really nice and straightforward, this. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm sure you know how to do this, but I'm just going to talk you through it anyway quickly just so you can see. And I'm going to go to Insert Picture from this device. I've got all kinds of things going on in here. I keep my clip art and my borders all half organised because a lot of people require credit for their work, which is perfectly fine. So when I make rooms, I make sure I credit them. I bought and collected a lot of clip art. What you need to do is you need to search for digital papers if you're not sure about this. You probably are sure, but you'll need to search for digital papers. And you want to find something that looks like the floor. I've got distressed wood here. I'm going to use this. Now I'm going to insert into my slide a piece of distressed wood. I'm just going to resize it. Now I'm doing this really quickly. I'm sure that when you do yours, you'll take a lot more care and your scenes will look much nicer, but I'm just doing mine quite quickly. And so I'm resizing it. I've made it diagonal intentionally because I want my floor to look, the floor of my room to look like it's diagonal. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and a little bit more. Okay, so I'm covering up a lot of this of my slide, but the reason I'm doing that is because it's just to make the floor. I'm going to go over the top of that. Now, so I've inserted a floor. I know that doesn't look like a floor right now, but it will in a moment. I come back to insert another picture from this device, and I'm going to find, I don't like it when it looks like this. I like to see what's in my folders. There we go. I'm going to find this baby girl damasak. It looks a bit like wallpaper. I'm going to put this on here too. Okay. Now I'm going to squish this wallpaper up. As I can see over here in my side panel, I can see how my actual slide looks because it's hard to see here because I've made the wall so big, the slide so big. So I'm going to stretch out my wallpaper. There we go. And I've got a room. Now, I know it doesn't look like it in the main part here, but you can see here it looks a little bit like a room. You can do all sorts of things to add more depth. You can put lines across and things like that. Now, to make my life easier, so I'm not, sorry about the spotlights. To make my life easier, and so I'm not trying to guess where the edge of my slide is, I'm going to save this now. I'm just going to save it to my desktop, just to make life easier. I'm going to save my new slide as a picture. I prefer PNG. I use PNG all the time. The reason I use PNG is simply because it's best for cartoony type pictures, and you need cartoony type pictures if that's the kind of game you're making. If you're making more real life looking games, you won't want a cartoony picture, will you? Okay, so I've added a new slide over here. You can see I'm going to change the background. So you want, if any of this doesn't make any sense, I'm really happy to answer questions. If I'm going too fast or anything at all, please let me know. Okay, I'm just going to insert a picture as the background. Insert it from my computer. I hope you can see what's going on. Please tell me if I'm doing anything you can't see or anything like that. Go back to where I saved my example picture. And I inserted it into this background. And then I'm just going to delete my first slide because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to zoom back in again. And there you go, I've got a room. Now, it's not a great room, but it's a start. This is the background to my room. Now, there's lots of things you can do to make your the edge of the room look better. You can add more perspective. You can add lines down. I'll just show you quickly. I'm not going to do it for this particular game, but you can add lines down the sides of the walls like this at an angle, and it makes it look like the walls are coming in. You can add parts across where the floor and the wall meet to make it look like a skirting. There's all kinds of things you can do to make it look more authentic. And if you would like me to talk you through some of them or you're interested, please let me know and I will do that next time. But for now, there you go. There's your room. Okay, now I'm going to have, in this escape room that I'm going to make, I'm going to have 4 sides to this room that they are trapped in. So I'm going to come over here to my background and I'm going to apply it to all, so I don't have to keep copy and pasting. Now every slide that I make will have that same background. I'm going to add more slides. There you go. So I've got 4 slides all exactly the same. Now I'm going to want to put into my now I'm going to want to put into my room some objects that the people will be able to click on. I'm doing this so quickly just because I'm pretty sure some of you already know how to do this and I don't want to bore you. I want to move on to the actual click and question part. Let's go here. Let's start with sharks. Let's start with, okay, I've got some saved objects that I like to use particularly for this. So let's I will just do this. Here you go. Right, so I'm going to add into my room some objects. Now you might want to, it's how you organise your clip art is entirely up to you. You might want to save it in folders per what it is. You might want to save it by person that you get it from, the credit they require. Personally, I absolutely love the Flapjack Factory's no stress clip art, because she says you can add her logo if you want to or not want to. It's entirely up to you how you use it, that kind of thing. Right, so I've copied the door and come back to my room, paste, because we all need a door to escape from. There, the door's going to live there, but of course it's going to be locked for now. They're not going to be able to get out. I'm going to, I meant to put that on the top. We're going to insert more pictures. I'm just going to do a few. I'm not going to make a crazy game here because we don't have the time. But if you're not sure about anything I'm doing, I'm copying my pictures and pasting them over. Okay, there's the light. That's where they are going to find out how to turn the light on. So, and they also need to move around from left to right in this room. So I'm going to insert shape. There you go. You can move this way. I'm going to copy and paste it to make sure it's exactly the same size. Shape format, rotate, and flip it so it goes the other way. So I hope you can see that this is the room I've made so far. That's the first scene. I'm going to hold Control and click so that I've got both of these arrows. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to paste them on every single scene. I'll zoom back out so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to each part of my room and pasting the arrows in so that every part of my room has these arrows. So they're going to walk in a complete circle. They'll start at the door and then they'll walk to each part of the room. Okay, so in the second scene, second one down, I need to put some more objects in for the people to interact with. Let's have a plant. Here we go. There's a plant. Oh, that's a bit of a big plant. It's bigger than the door. Maybe I don't want it that big. There we go. And in this part of the room, they're going to have what should we have in this part of the room? A bed. Maybe they can go to bed. Okay, I'm doing, like I say, you would put much more detail into your rooms. You would make them filled with lots of clues of what they need to do and all that kind of thing. If you can see over here, I hope I'm not losing anybody, you can see that these are the sides of the slides where each bit of the room goes. And you can design your room however you like. You can put all sorts of bits and bobs into it and make it really interesting. But like I say, this is just a demo. So, and I've got a lot to cover, so I'm being as quick as I can. A fireplace, that's what's going to go in the last one. Okay, here we go. Fireplace. Oh, I need to make this fireplace bigger. Again, make sure that you remember where your clip art comes from. Save it in particular folders. Note down where it comes from because some artists do want credit and they deserve credit. They are amazing artists. Okay, here we go. Here is my room. It's a very basic room, but it's done. Now, this door is going to be locked. They're not going to be able to escape. Feel sorry for them. Too bad. Okay, now, first thing I want to do is navigation. I want my students to be able to get around the room. Like I said, this is basic PowerPoint. This is the kind of PowerPoint... Sorry, I'm going to have some drink. This is basic PowerPoint. I'm going to move on to advanced PowerPoint afterwards. But for now, we're going to talk about the basics. So, if I click on my right arrow, when they go to the right, they're going to move to this scene where the plant is, which is slide number 2. So I click on the right arrow. I come up to my insert at the top here. And then I'm going to insert an action. So when they click on my right arrow, it's going to link to... Now I could do next slide because it is the next slide, but I don't want to do that. I want to name the slide, particularly because sometimes I move my slides around and change them, so it might not be the next slide every time. Slide 2, I'm going to link, when they click on that arrow, they get taken to slide 2. Okay. And then when they click on slide 2, the same thing. I'm going to click on the arrow. Insert an action, link to slide 3. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. This one, action. I don't need to do all of these, but I want to demonstrate the game to you at the end, so I'm doing it very as quickly as I can. Okay, slide 4. And when I get to slide 4, they're going to get back to the start, so another action. Link to slide 1. Okay, so it's going to take them around in circles. And you do the same for the other way, but I'm not going to do that just because of time and things. Right, when they click on the door. Now, what's going to happen when they click on the door? There's 2 things you can do. You can make a whole other slide. A new slide. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. A new blank slide. And you can copy your door, paste it here. I'm going to make it bigger. You would design this much better than this. Insert and a text box, and the text box is going to say, what's the answer? I don't know what the question is, so but whatever you decide the answer will be. Okay, I'm going to make that text bigger. Okay, what's the answer? Now, in advanced PowerPoint, there is a way to put a box here and have them type the answer in. For us, doing the basic PowerPoint right now, that's not possible. So we need to put in a button because it's multiple choice. Like I said, I will go over advanced PowerPoint, but this is basic PowerPoint. So let's insert a shape. I'm going to put this shape in blue, and then I'm going to, like I say, maybe you're asking them what colour the cat is or something that they found in the room or something like that. Orange and red. Okay, now I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to copy this slide and paste it again. I'm going to delete these boxes in my pasted slide. I'm going to put, that's wrong, try again. Okay, and then they're going to need a back button because otherwise they're going to get stuck on that slide, telling them that they're wrong. So just put in insert another box and type back. So again, now when they click on this back button, they are going to, I'm going to go to insert, action, hyperlink to slide 1 because that's the slide they came from. Slide 1, okay, back to slide 1. Now, when I'm going to have the answer that opens the door be red, I think. So blue and orange will both take me to, that's the wrong answer, so insert, action, link to slide 3, I think was my that's wrong. Was it? Yep, slide 3 tells them it's wrong. Okay. Orange the same, action, link to, slide 3. So blue and orange both get told it's wrong, but red is going to be right. It's going to be correct. So I need another new slide. Come back here, home, new slide. And this one is going to have across it in nice big letters, you are free. You are free. Maybe not big letters. Okay. So when they get to, if they click on red, they're going to be told they're free. Insert, action, hyperlink to, slide. What number was that? I've already forgotten. 4? 3? 3. Okay, you are 3. You are free on number 3. Right, there we go. So essentially, I've made the game now. You would put a lot more questions in, a lot more things. I'm trying to move through this quite fast. So let's see how this works. I will run it from the beginning. I'm in a room, and you will obviously have things that they... You will have things that they can click on to do things, but I haven't done that. So click on the door. If I click on the door, what's the answer? I think it might be blue. No, it's wrong. Go back. I think, I try again. I think it might be orange. No, that's wrong. Go back. Yours will be much more complicated than this. This is just mine. So, and as you can see, I can navigate around the room as well. I can use my arrows to look at the rest of the room that I've made, and it takes me back to the beginning eventually. You can use this kind of navigation for things like going through doors or windows or anything like that. It's up to you. Now, right, let's go back to the door. If I get the door right, if I click on the door and I get it right... Oh, where's my mouse gone? I think the answer's red. Yay, I'm free. You wouldn't have the same background. You'd use some kind of sky or something exciting. Okay, so that is very, very quickly and very basically how you make a basic escape room. Now, the problem with these types of rooms, as I discussed earlier, is that you're only able to make multiple choice. And I don't like that. I want them to have interactive and more options. So I want them to be able to type in their answers. And I'm just going to switch you back just for a moment because I'm going to load in one of my games that uses advanced PowerPoint. Now, and then I'll be able to show you how you could do that. So I hope this sort of made sense. I hope that you saw how you made the basic of the room. And if you have any questions about the basic PowerPoint, now's the time to ask before I move on to the more advanced. No, we're good? Fab. Okay, right, so I'm going to open up my a game that I made using advanced PowerPoint. Now, I absolutely loved this game. I was really pleased with it. I played it loads. I thought that everyone would love it. And when I sent it off out into the world to be played by teachers, there wasn't a lot of people happy with it. Now, the reason for that, as I discussed earlier, is people don't like macros, which is ultimately why I moved on from using PowerPoint for my escape rooms. But, like I said, if you just want to use it with your class, it's great. But people don't like using macros on their computer, and I think it's mainly because when you try and have a macro game, when you have a macro game and it pops up on someone's computer, it will ask them, do they want to have macros enabled? And it gives them a warning that this can be dangerous for their computer. So people don't like it. And I'm really disappointed in that because I think that if you were more accepting of these macros, you would love the games. Now I'm going to switch you back to my computer. So I had to go through all my personal bits and bobs to open the game. But I'm going to switch you back to my computer now so that you can see the game. And I'll show you how it's played. Sorry, there's my wall again. Hi, wall. Oh. So this is the game that we just made. Mine's loading in now. Not a good time for my PowerPoint to not respond. Okay. So you can see this is my game. You've been locked in a room by Leonardo da Vinci's biggest fan. Let's actually play this game and then you'll see. Is this the one? I don't think it is. Okay. I'll just give it a go and see. I have so many versions of this game now that I forget which one I'm in. So you've been locked in a room, and the only way to escape is to find the code to get out the door. So this room was set up in the same way I've just showed you. What makes me sure macros are safe to use? Because I created the macro and made it myself. That's why I know that mine are safe. I'm not saying use all macros. I'm not saying that at all. Sorry, that was a question of someone else. I'm not saying that you should use all macros. I'm saying that I know that mine are safe because I made them. So that's why. But anyway, this is why these type of rooms didn't catch on for me, because people were concerned about using them. So this is the type of room that I made a minute ago. I'm going to click the start button to take me to the room. I made the background in the way I showed you. I made the floor in the way I showed you. And then I inserted these random pieces here as clip art in the same way. I've also got the arrows at the bottom, so we can walk around the room and look for things that we need to do. Right, so if I click on the telephone, who do I want to call? Who do I want to call? I don't know yet. So the book, I've got a book here, and the book gives me a clue, but the diary is locked. Okay, now I'm going to come out of here and very quickly show you something else. Sorry, my Dropbox is slow. Now what I want to show you is how to do this, because this is slightly more advanced than the ones I've just shown you, but it's very similar. So a moment ago I showed you how to insert an action into your game and how to use that action to get you to a different slide. But you might have noticed, I've just opened a different version, sorry about that. I should have actually shown you there. Across the top there was a little yellow bar that asked me if I wanted to enable the macros, and I said I wanted to enable them. Right, so let's try that again, because I didn't have the macros enabled. From the beginning. Right, here we go. I'm going to start my room. And here I can dial a number. I can dial any old number I want to. Who do I want to call? That's wrong. Look for more clues. Oh dear. What's the code to open the diary? I don't know that either. I don't know anything here. That doesn't look very educational. So I can click on each of these, and I'm doing this in exactly the same way that I just showed you in the previous game. Each of the objects I've just clicked on had an action attached to it that linked to another slide. So this is a whole other slide that got linked, and I've just found out a date. Look, his birthday. Leonardo's birthday was April the 15th, 1452. I'm going to need that information later. I click my back button. I click on the world, and I want to visit the Mona Lisa. So they might need to click where the Mona Lisa is on the map. All of this is simply slides. It's just slides and an action that takes to the other slide. The bit that you need to see here is entering the information in this box. So I want to show you how to do that. This here is, don't be worried, this is a bit of code, but don't be concerned about this. It's really, really straightforward. So what you need to do, let me just come out of here. Let's use the safe one, for example, the one they just showed me an error on. You would come to your insert, just like we did with the last one. It was just the same as we did with the last lot. And now you have to make sure that you have the current version of PowerPoint. Sorry, I forgot what application I was in then. You have to use the current version of PowerPoint, because otherwise it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to do this. And you're going to want to open your Visual Basic Application Editor, which is the one that's here. And you see, now this here is a very, very short line of code. This is a tiny bit of code. I can put it in the comments afterwards if you want me to. And this code just says that when they click on it, here, when they click on the button, you make a button exactly the same way that you made previously. Made the buttons to go to the multiple choice. When they click on a button, if the value is, let me go a bit closer so you can actually see the text. Sorry, there we go. So if they click on the button, I will put this code in the text for you. If they click on the button and the value they put in is 14, then they're going to go to slide 39, which is my, well done, you did it right slide. So if I move back a little, sorry, I don't want you to have a blurry screen. If they get it wrong, which is the else, then they will go to slide 38. I will put this code in the comments, don't worry about this. It's a really simple piece of code, but it just tells the computer that when they click that button, they're going to look, the computer's going to look for 14, and if it's not in the box, then take them to 38. If it is in the box, take them to 39. And all I have to do is make sure that my slide 38 and my slide 39 are right and wrong. This is slide, as you can see here, this is slide 38, and this is slide 39, which is the right one. Now, I hope I didn't lose you with that. I hope that wasn't too confusing, that part. But it's really quite straightforward to do, and it's really easy to do, and it's easy to make the games this way. And you can make them really, really interactive. They can do all kinds of things, like the map one, for example. I would love to visit the Mona Lisa. I put a button over Paris that will take them, if they click on Paris, it will take them to slide 14, which says that the Mona Lisa's kept there. You see? But if they click in other places on the map, they're told that that's wrong, and they're taken to that's a wrong slide. I hope that made sense. So that's just a little bit further along in terms of PowerPoint usage. So this is why I really like PowerPoint, because I think it can do so much, and it's really great, particularly for these kinds of escape rooms, and particularly if you only want to use them in your classroom, because you don't have to send them to anybody, and you won't have to worry about the macros. Like I said, if you make them, you know that they're safe. Right, before I move on to what I did next, before I move on to more complicated games, I hope everyone was okay with the PowerPoint. I feel like if you can master the use of making these games in PowerPoint, you're more than halfway there. Because once you get on to making these games a little bit more complicated, if you've been making them in PowerPoint, you'll feel so much more confident doing it. And you will understand why things happen, and you'll understand how everything works. Right, I'm going to talk to you about boom cards now. Boom cards are probably easier to do this on than the advanced PowerPoint, but I didn't want to do the basic PowerPoint, then boom cards, then the advanced PowerPoint, because PowerPoint goes together. But boom cards are easier than the PowerPoint that I just showed you. And the reason why that is because boom cards doesn't require any coding at all. It's all very click and move on. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to log into my boom cards, so I've taken you off of the screen for now so that I can log in secret and you don't see things. I'm going to come to my studio. Right, so actually let's take you back to the beginning of boom cards. Here we go. Right, I'm going to show you how to do boom cards. I'm sorry I'm moving so fast, but it's only because I've got an hour and I'm already running out of time. But I will cover more in another live if people want me to go further. Right, here we go. This is Boom Learning. Boom cards, Boom Learning. It's boomlearning.com, and you have to sign up. Like I said, the pros of Boom cards are you can do text entry like we just did in PowerPoint. You can also have clickable scenes. They're easy to use. The cons on Boom cards are the flipping action, which I'll show you in a minute. There's no inventory, and you can't do third person. Well, that is like a little person walking around the screen, which I really like to do. So I'm going to show you very quickly one of my games in Boom cards. Let's do my Iron Age escape room, and you'll be able to see what this means. And you'll particularly see what I mean about the flipping. So your boat is damaged. You get to the nearest island. How will you escape the island? Start. See what I mean about the flipping? Okay, so I've got a little arrow here. I've got a boat with a hole in it. I've got a little jetty. I'm going to go left, and there's the flip. There's a monkey that I could possibly talk to. There's a flower here. There's a box. If I click on the box, I get asked a question. What did people start to discover when That should have been when. What did people start to do to discover salt and other minerals? Well, so long ago since I taught this lesson, I cannot remember. Did they dig? I don't know. Nope, they didn't. It tells me it's wrong. That's not right. Try again. Okay, so I didn't get to open the box. So I'm going to go further this way. I'm going to go into the mountain. Now, this is, again, is similar to the PowerPoint game. If you can master how to do this in PowerPoint, when you come to doing boom cards, it will be so much easier. I make all of my backgrounds in PowerPoint first for boom, and then I come and put them into the boom card creator. So to do this is really easy. I'll show you how easy boom cards is. You go to Studio. I'm not going to show you my sounds. You come to Make Decks here, and you can make a brand new deck, or you can use one of the other decks. I will click on the Iron Age room I just showed you, just so you can see the background of it, and then I'll show you how to make one very quickly. So here it is. This is the main template of the game here, but at the side, just like in PowerPoint, you have your slides. And again, just like in PowerPoint, you just link buttons to different things. So here's my main slide. Your boat was damaged. You get to the nearest island. How will you escape the island? And over my start is a button. Now, to make a button, you just go up here to where it says button, drag it over, and you've got a button. And if you want it to be see-through, on the right-hand side over here, there's options to make it see-through. It says background. You click on it, and then there's like a little PNG type checkered background where it says transparent. You click that, and there you go. Your button no longer has a background. Apply. Now, when they click this button, I would delete the text as well, obviously. When they click this button, I'm going to come up again on the right-hand side and link to, and then I'm going to choose the very first slide that this button's going to link to. So when they click on my brand new button, I want them to go to slide 3. And there it is, done. That works. So slide 3 here is the slide with the monkey. Slide 3 is the slide with the monkey. I'm going to preview this so you can see what this looks like. It's changed, it's different because I've just did it. There's the button I just made. I didn't make the border transparent because I wanted to see where the button was, but you can do that. And I click on the button and it takes me to the monkey. So, yeah, I want to quit. Okay. Right, I'm going to delete this button because this is an actual game that I still use. So, there you go. So that's just how you do the linking thing, similar to what we just did in PowerPoint. Let's come to one that's got a question. So here we go. When were coins first minted as currency? That's what this scary totem pole guy asks. So how did I make this background? I made a green background in PowerPoint. I put the picture on, and then I made the boxes for answer and the boxes where they would type it in. To do this in boom cards, you're going to need to drag a button over and put it over the answer, make it a transparent background and a transparent border, and have it link to a right slide and a wrong slide. A slide saying that's right and a slide saying that's wrong. And to do that, you click on the button, and over here on the right hand side you can link to, and that's where you link to the slide that's correct. And then you tick this box here that says conditional link, and link if wrong, you link to the slide that's wrong. Both of those. So that when they click this button here that's over my answer, it's going to see if this box is right or wrong. If it's right, it will go to this slide, and if it's wrong, it will go to this slide. Very, very similar to what we did in PowerPoint. That's why it's probably, boom cards is probably the next stage of progressing through if you're going to start making these kind of games. Now, here, this box here is not a button. See, over here, these are the buttons. This is the buttons that you drag over. You've got other options. You can have text or things. I don't really use these very much, mostly because I make all my backgrounds in PowerPoint. But you can make your backgrounds in boom cards, but it doesn't have as much picture editing type options. But anyway, so here at the bottom it says fill in the blanks. And if you drag this over, you'll get a box like this. which I don't need, so I'm just going to delete that. But that's what this is. This is a fill in the blank box that I dragged and put over my answer box. If I click it, I get this come up, which says answer picker. And the answer is 100 BC. Now, I've ticked ignore white space because this is a number. If they put 100 BC without a space, I want it to be right. If they put 100 BC with a space, I want it to be right. So, either way, I want them to have the right answer there. You can put as many answers in here as you like. This is really handy for things like, if you're going to ask them, I don't know, say my Leonardo da Vinci game, if you're going to ask them Leonardo da Vinci's name, for example, you want them to have a correct answer if it's Da Vinci, if it's Leonardo da Vinci, if it's Leonardo Vinci. I mean, you might have his full name, all these kinds of things. So you can put lots and lots of options in here and they will all be right. And then you click submit. And when they click on this and they put in 100 BC, it will take them, and they'll click answer. It will take them to the right slide, the slide that's right. Or if it's wrong, it will take them to a that's wrong slide. Both of which I made in PowerPoint. Just a quick note of how you get your PowerPoint slides into Boom. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. At the bottom, there's an add card. So you can add a card to the deck. It will come up blank. And then you go to background over here. And instead of choosing a colour, it says background image. And you can click an image. And you can choose. I've got so many folders, but you can choose an image. Any image you want to use. This is one of my Frero images. So you make the background in PowerPoint and then import it into Boom. And this is very similar to what we were doing in PowerPoint, but it takes care of all the macros, all that kind of thing. It takes care of it for you. I absolutely love Boom. It was something I worked on for a long, long time, but I did move away from it for various reasons I already talked about. Right. Okay. I am running out of steam. I'm running out of breath. I'm going to delete this card, mostly because I don't need it for this game. There we go. Right, I'm going to turn you back around. So, I've run over, in the last hour, how to make basic escape rooms, how to make more advanced, basic PowerPoint escape rooms, how to make more advanced PowerPoint escape rooms, and how to make escape rooms in Boom cards. I moved past Boom cards into Java when I wanted third person and inventory and things like that. So if you want to go that step further, I'm happy to do another live because I'm running out of time. I've got 5 minutes left and I can't start Java because that's a huge one. But if you want to know how to make the game's a bit more complicated, a bit more involved, I'm happy to do another live. I'll be going live on 31st, next Sunday anyway, to answer the questions that I usually do on Sunday. I do a Sunday answering questions thing. But I'm happy to run another live to show people how to do that. If you've got any questions at all, please ask. I'm happy to answer. If you have any... if you have anything you want to share, and if anything I've done today doesn't make any sense, I really want to know, because I talked very fast. I covered a lot of information very quickly, and I hope that it made sense. I also hope that it made some of you want to make escape rooms for your kids, because I think they're brilliant. I think they are a great way to learn. I just want to add, if you want to play one of my escape rooms, you can at teacherescaperooms.com. You can just go there. It's a game I made just for teachers. It's to teach teachers about escape rooms. And it will give you a bit of an idea of the type of things you can do. Don't be afraid of coding. It's not scary. I think that's all I've got there. I really did want to get to Java, but I just ran out of time. So let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. And if you're watching on the replay, please just drop a little hello at the bottom. Okay, I've talked for an hour. I'm out of breath.